Hi there everyone, it's Gloria Kremer from Oakville, Canada, and today we are going to be making this cute little card right here, and I am going to show you how we're going to put it all together. So when you get my kits, and you can find me on meetup.com under Creative Escapes, and all my online classes include the kits for these cards, and everything is pre-cut, pre-scored for you. All you have to do is stamp the images. Now this was part of the Tulip Fields online class, so it uses the Tulip Fields stamps. So this is the stamp set right here. And I'm gonna grab some blocks and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to be doing some stamping. Now when you do this card, you can use whatever ink colors you want. For my card, I used Fresh Freesia. I used Pale Papaya. And I used Polished Pink. I also use Pool Party for the sky, and I use Pear Pizzazz for the trees in the background. So these are the colors that I use. And then of course my sentiment comes from Flowering Tulips. So that was my sentiment that I used. So let's get started, and I'll show you how I stamp the tulip field. You might do it differently. I mean, I think there's lots of ways to do it. I don't think there's any right or wrong way to do it. So let's start with this first piece here. Now I did cut my stamp in half because I was doing something and I needed two pieces for some reason. I can't even remember what it was. Oh, maybe it was for my magic slider card. So I cut mine into two pieces, which is fine. It still works the same way. So we're going to turn this over, and I'm going to start with this piece here. Now don't mind the staining. That was because I used StazOn ink. I'm pretty sure this stamp is clean, but let's just to be on the safe side, we will use the chamois just in case. Okay, now it is clean for sure. Okay, so this is gonna be our polished pink. And you know what? I'm going to keep this on the side so you can see what it looks like. Now, I'm sure there are other ways to stamp your tulip fields, but I'm just showing you this is my way. So I'm going a little above halfway. It's not a big deal where you start it. So there's our first layer of tulips. Next, we're going to use the big stamp here from the stamp set. And we're going to use the Fresh Freesia. And I'm just going to sort of measure it out, see how much I need to ink this up. And then I'm going to I'm going to do the same on the other side. Trying not to overlap it, but getting it close enough so that there isn't too much white space. I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to clean this. And we're going to use this pale papaya and do the same thing. And then the last one we're going to do, we're going to use the polished pink again down the middle there. Now when we do the next one, there will be a bit of overlap. Now if you didn't want it to overlap, I would suggest taking a piece of paper and just sort of masking it. So you could do something like this. So I'm going to peel this in half. So I find when you're masking, if you use a thinner paper, it will work better. And there we go. There is our field of tulips. Now we don't have much left here. Okay. So our next step is going to be to do the sky. And for the sky, I'm going to use a blending brush. Make sure there's no color left in there. I'm going to mask it with this piece of paper here. And I'm going to use Pool Party. And you can add as much color as you want until you get the desired effect that you're looking for. So there is our sky. And then our next step is to stamp our little trees here. So there's our trees. You can sort of stamp them all across, or you can stamp 2 or 3. So I'll do 3, I think. Yeah, 3's good. So let me So then the next step is to glue our windmill together. Now for this windmill, unlike the last card, I'm not putting a brad through it. I'm just gonna glue it down. So once I glue it down, it's not gonna be moving. So that is our windmill. Then we're gonna open up our little package here. Now your home kit is either going to have 2 shorter pieces or one short, one long piece of fencing. You're going to have 2 clouds. You're going to have like a little flower piece here. And then you're going to have this dot that we're going to put right in the center of our windmill. And then what you can do when you're putting this on, just make sure that your windmill fits inside the sort of the frame of the card here. And I would suggest putting your fence down before you put your windmill. Of course, this fence isn't exactly the easiest piece to put glue on, but do your best. It doesn't need a lot of glue, just a tiny bit will do. And I'm very happy that my dogs are cooperating today. They are actually in the room with me and they are both napping. One is by the window and the other one is by the wall. Okay, so then we're going to put some glue on the back of this. And we are going to drop this down. Oops, let's poke out this piece. Yeah, so just make sure all the little pieces from the die cut is out. And then once you have your windmill down, if you want to glue down the windmill pieces, you can. I think it's easier to sort of do it after you put the big piece on, maybe. And then we're going to add our clouds. It doesn't matter if the clouds sort of stick out a little. Again, I'm going to pop this up using a dimensional. Dog hair, get rid of the dog hair. And then this little cloud here. I think it needs an even smaller piece of dimensional. I think we need to cut this in half. And we'll put that one up here. Next, we're gonna pop out all the little pieces on your bicycle. Yeah. You could also do the bicycle in a darker color, like a brown or a gray or black, but I chose to do it using the matte pieces because I don't like to waste. So our next step is to pick a sentiment, and I do like, let's see what will fit here. I do like this one, so I think we'll use this one. It says, just a card to say you're amazing. And I'm going to stamp it with the fresh freesia. There we go. Now when sticking ribbon onto the back of a sentiment piece. I guess it looks like I probably didn't clean my stamp uh, cleanly, but it still looks good. I think it's a combination of like whatever, I think it was probably black and the fresh freesia. So I'm going to put a strip of adhesive on the back. And then I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm just going to weave it on the back of the card like this. I think that is perfect. It doesn't matter if some of it pops up. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. I'm just going to lay this on top. Because we have 2 layers of matting, it doesn't matter if this ribbon sort of comes off the page here. It's not a big deal. And then we're going to add our little flower, if I can find it. I know I saw it earlier. Of course, oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a dot of glue there. You can also stick this little flower on with a glue dot, but I find the Tombow glue works well, and I like to put the glue dot on and then just push the flower down. So our next step, we're going to add our bicycle. Now, if you thought this was too busy, you can also add the bicycle on the inside, which I think that's what I'm going to do on this card here. I think I'm going to put my bicycle on the inside of the card, because I feel like there's enough going on the front there that we probably don't really need the bicycle. So I'm just going to put this on the inside of my card, just like that. Next, we're going to mount this onto this piece, and then we're going to mount it onto the polished pink piece. Oh, I hate it when it does that. I'm not really sure why it keeps doing that. I think I'm not pulling it quick enough. Or maybe I'm pulling it too quick, I don't know. I think that's what it is. I'm not pulling it up quick enough. Okay, so we're going to put this on to this piece here. And then we're going to put this piece onto here. We have lots of layers on this card. I'm going to eventually get this right, I think. Ugh. Why does it do that? Ugh. It really is user error, I think. Now, if you do a lot of card making like I do, you might also want to consider getting one of these. This is the Scotched Advanced Tape Glider. I got this one from Michael's. I'm in Canada. And I love this. So it did take me a little bit to get used to it when I first started making cards. But now I use it all the time, and I actually prefer it. But it's not Stampin' Up, and that's okay. Sometimes I use stuff that is not Stampin' Up. Because I make a lot of cards, and this tape, the tape for that glider will last forever. So, but if you only make the occasional card and you don't do it very often, the Stampin' Seal is great, as it is pretty easy to use, and it's nice and small, so it travels well if you're if you travel and make cards while you're traveling or going on vacation or whatever. So there is our finished card. So you can see the difference. This one has the bicycle on the outside. This one has the bicycle on the inside. And that is our final card. Have a good night. Have an awesome week. Thanks for joining me, and stay tuned. I think I'm going to be doing more cards in April.